And by the Eskom spokesperson, Khulu Phasiwe. Khulu, thank you for joining us. Can you give us any more insight into the discussions, the events behind the scenes leading up to the resignation today?
Well, I suppose all of us were taken aback by the decision by Mr. Molefe today because we were not necessarily expecting it, although obviously, as you know, and have quoted in that clip that he had indicated that he was weighing his options. But this morning he called the executive committee, and that's when he announced the news to the committee and also to the chairperson. And the chairperson, I'm sure, has relayed the message to the board and to the minister.
Has the chair, Benungambane, said anything else? He clearly supports the CEO, Brian Molefe.
Well, indeed, the entire Eskom board is behind the CEO, not only in relation to him as the executive of Eskom, but also in terms of supporting the entire executive of Eskom, because remember this investigation that was being done on the coal contract was on Eskom as a whole. It's only unfortunate, I suppose, that only a few people were cited there, but Mr. Molefe being the CEO, I'm sure his name was not, it should not come as a surprise that it was high on that report. But we are now going to await a decision from the board and the Minister of Public Enterprises as to when and who they will appoint in the interim to be the CEO. It has to be added at this stage, though, that Mr. Molefe is still with Eskom until the 31st of December this year.
Khulu, it wasn't just because he was CEO. He was mentioned in the report for some specific incidences related to Brian Molefe, the 44 calls being Saxonwald 14 times. From what I've seen, he's questioned the findings. He wants to know about the technology, but there's no real explanation for those findings. Is Eskom concerned about that?
Well, the fact that he spoke to Mr. Ede Gupta for, I think they said, for something like 58 times or things like that, it's not proof enough to indicate that there was anything untoward there. Because you have to dig beyond the call to see if there was anything there, which is why Mr. Molefe was saying if the public protector or anyone else who's going to do the investigation, if they want to know what is it that he was talking about, then obviously they should give him a chance so that he can explain himself. What also has not been said is that he probably also made other calls to other suppliers. Not only Tegeta is our supplier, but there are other suppliers as well who he may have been calling. Because remember, according to the public protector's report, the calls were made, I think, just before the beginning of winter of last year, and that's the time when Eskom was beginning to marshal all the suppliers together to see as to whether they'll be able to give us more coal so that we can have more stability for the supply of electricity for winter.
Well, mentioning coal, this report is so much bigger and makes claims against not only Brian Molefe but Eskom itself, suggesting that the board may not have been constituted properly, also raising serious questions about whether or not Tegeta was given that leg up with Eskom paying 650 million rand, I think it was, in advance for coal, close to the amount that Tegeta had to pay for the mine supplying the coal. Is Eskom looking at these claims? Is there any sort of self-inquiry from Eskom?
The issues about the board being illegally constituted, that one I hope in due course the Minister of Public Enterprises will make pronouncements on that one, because she's the one who appoints the board. But as far as Eskom giving Tegeta a leg up, that one, to be honest with you, we as Eskom have been out in the open to explain how the system works. Companies like Anglo, for example, none of us as people who are interested in the truth have gone to them to ask if what Eskom is saying is true, which is to say that they too, just like Exaro and others, they too have received prepayments before so that they can give us guarantees that we will get the coal that we require for our operations. So what we did for Tegeta in terms of giving them this 500 million rand prepayment was something similar to what we had done with other companies before, especially during 2008 when we started having the first episodes of load shedding.
Okay, so Eskom believes that there's nothing untoward from the company itself. There will be no internal probe whatsoever.
You know, the reason why the public protector's report is mostly centered around Eskom, it is because Eskom had complied with all the requests from the public protector. We have submitted, I think in total, 160 arch files of documents, making sure that anything and everything they wanted was there so that they can formulate their position. So it comes as no surprise to Eskom that the majority of that report actually is predicated on Eskom, because we are one of the few that had actually complied in terms of giving them the information. We are confident that once this commission of inquiry is established, it will actually confirm our position to say that there was nothing untoward that we had done.
All right, Khulu, thank you. Final question. The bond yields, Eskom bonds rising today, a measure of risk. And how's morale at the company, and is there a likely successor?
Well, the board has issued a statement saying that they're going to meet with the Minister of Public Enterprises in due course, where they will discuss the issue of having a replacement, I'm sure a temporary replacement, and then also in due course, possibly early next year, they will advertise the post for the permanent CEO. But as far as staff morale is concerned, Eskom has 47,000 employees, and many of us here are very tenacious. We have gone through worse times than this one. In fact, this one, to be honest with you, is milder compared to load shedding episodes that we have had. This one is it's almost like I would say a smooth transition, because we know that Mr. Molefe is not going to leave immediately, and he's not been fired. He's going to leave at the end of the year. So for us, we have seen worse situations on this one.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. Khulu Phasiwe, Eskom spokesperson. It's been an event.